Welcome to Amy's Bookshelf Reviews podcast. I'm Amy Shannon, but you can call me Amy. Thank you for listening. Hello and welcome, and I hope all is well with you. I'm Amy, and today I am talking about Andrew Nance's book, Green Canvas. It's a really interesting book. It had a book that came before it called Red Canvas, and I am hoping to be reading that one soon. This one is it's part of a series, Elise Norwood mystery series. Green Canvas is the second book in the series. So just to let me tell you a little bit about the book, and its description says that a year's passed since Elise Norwood survived a violent encounter with a serial killer. Thanks to the publicity from that case, her private investigating firm is thriving. Elise attends the grand opening of the museum's new art exhibit, where she is lauded for locating a long-lost masterpiece. At the same time, an unidentified homeless boy is gruesomely executed in San Marco, Florida. Both events, they seem unrelated, they intertwine, and Elise is hired to learn the identity of the victim. Her investigation becomes more perplexing when she discovers that multiple kidnapping, a $1 million briefcase, and a band of juvenile fiends are tied to this boy's murder. Unable to turn to the authorities for fear of retribution against innocent victims, Elise relies on old friends and new to assist her in her investigation. But with multiple lives at stake, Elise will ultimately have to step in the lion's den alone, knowing she's outnumbered and outgunned. So that is, what the story is about. And it's exciting and intriguing. And if you haven't picked up a book from Andrew Nance yet, you may just want to do that. You can go to Amazon and search Andrew Nance, and his books will show up, especially Red Canvas and this one, Green Canvas. I always find it interesting when I read the titles of a series and how they are intertwined and make it great. And you kind of, when you're reading, you kind of figure out, oh, that's why this book is called that. So I'm going to save that for when you read the book. So now I have, I'm going to read part of chapter 1 in Andrew Nance's Green Canvas. Chapter 1, Monday night. The small girl was in an alley on a night the sky opened its floodgates to release a ferocious downpour. In the darkness behind a rundown strip mall, she put down a filthy packing blanket under the overhang of the roof and out of the rain. She folded lengthwise to serve as a bedroll. There was a 3-foot pile of flattened cardboard boxes just outside one of the shop doors. She laid them half over the blanket, not for warmth, but so she looked more like a pile of trash than a person. She didn't want to be found. She knew that people could be cruel and abusive. She'd been sleeping behind the big movie theater since running away. The dumpster had a lot of leftover popcorn and candy, and the homeless camp was in the woods near there. She tried going into the camp once, hoping someone would be nice and take care of her. A big man with a shaved head, red beard, had chased her off. "Get out of here. We don't want no colored girl here." After that, she didn't go to the camp, but would lie down close enough to hear people talk. It made her feel safer that someone was nearby, even if they didn't want her around. The weather, when she had slept behind the theater, had been nice. She looked up at the tree limbs to see the stars, but because of the bad storm, she had to find somewhere dry to sleep and had ended up in the alley. She felt eyes on her since she had since she had gotten there, but she didn't see anyone. Lightning flared and made the world black and white. She looked down at the other end of the alley, where a mound of old clothes was piled next to a shopping cart filled with what appeared to be more old clothes, cans, bottles, and plastic bags stuffed full. The things had been there when she set up for the night, and there hadn't been any movement, but she felt something radiate from them that wasn't good, so she made her bed as far away as she could. Not quite ready for sleep, she sat with her back against the building and opened the ratty spiral notebook that she carried everywhere. With the stub of a pencil, she wrote, I wonder if it's hard to end, and does it hurt to die? It was too dark to see the words, but with the frequent lightning strikes, she could see her lines were straight and her words fell where they should. She gazed down the alley to the pile of clothes and turned her attention back to the writing. I don't think that I'd mind it. I know I wouldn't cry. I wonder if it's hard to die and does it hurt to end. I'm not too scared to find that out. Death might be a friend. She started to write more, but her gaze returned to the end of the alley, her uneasiness growing. It was like focusing on her bedroom door when she knew that smelly man was coming to visit. She decided to try it for sleep and left the notebook leaning against the wall, as far from the rain as possible. She slid under the flattened boxes and between the folds of the packing blanket. She was miserable, but still it was better than being back in her mother's apartment. Her mother lived to party, which meant a lot of drinking, drugs, and sex for money. When her mother was drunk or high, she liked to tease the girl and call her stupid and dumb. That was bad enough. But the reason she had run away, because she felt her mother had started to make the girl party too. The smelly man had paid her mother to come and let her into the girls' room. He locked the door, and when he came in, he told her he came to play. He made her touch his thing and wanted her to kiss it, but she wouldn't. She just held it while he rocked his hips and then made a mess. Later, the girl said that she didn't want to do that anymore. Her mother replied, You're 8, kiddo, enough to bring in some cash. She gave the girl a fake smile and patted her head. You'll learn to like it. When her mother told her the smelly man was coming to see her again, she ran away. So that's not the complete chapter, but I think I will end here because I don't want to give anything more away. It's a grand story. It's it pulls you in, you're just hoping that, you know, it ends up being something that's so important. Usually the prologue or the first chapter kind of sets the tone and the mood for what is about to happen, what comes. Um, so uh, that is what I like about stories, authors that write prologues in chapter one. They give you that backstory. It's kind of like watching a police procedural, where they show the crime happening and then the police get involved. Or so that is what I see when I read this, and I just really enjoyed that story. Um, and I wrote a review and I gave it 5 stars and wrote Andrew Nance tells a PI mystery tale with green canvas. In green canvas, the reader is introduced to private investigator Lise. She's still reeling from her attack with a vicious serial killer, but it seems that has put the name of her PI business out there, more prevalent because of the case. I hadn't read anything by this author before, and what a hidden gem. I enjoyed it so much that I followed the author and looked for more books to read. Green Canvas is part of the Elise uh, of the Elise Norwood, mystery series, and this is volume 2. I hadn't read Canvas yet, the first book in this series, but I plan on reading it. Elise finds herself in the middle of the murder of a homeless boy. She has to not only discover who he really is, but who is doing unspeakable things, all in the range from kidnapping to murder. Andrew Nance has a great imagination. Lise is determined and tenacious and determined to get the job done no matter what. It's both thrilling and intriguing all the way to the end. I have fast become a fan of Andrew Nance. It's magnetically charged with strong characters. Lise is an unforgettable character. And of course, I've recommended this book I think it is it's a really good book, and I think, I don't know if you need to read Red Canvas prior to that, but I would recommend it. I always do. If you're reading a series, start from the first book, whether they share the same characters, or they are standalone books, or each book in the series has a different set of characters. Um, I find you're not just getting the story of like the backstories, getting to know characters, but you're also learning about the author and how they write and how they tell a story. So if you're really enjoying the first book, I recommend reading the next book and so on. So it's just one of those books that you kind of just can't put down unless you absolutely have to. So I recommend looking up Andrew Nance's Green Canvas. If you're an author who wants your book to be on the show, go to Amy's Bookshelf Reviews/podcast for more information. If you're an author and you want your book to be reviewed, go to amysbookshelf.com for more information. Thank you, and I will talk to you next week. Welcome to Amy's Bookshelf Reviews podcast. I'm Amy Shannon, but you can call me Amy. Thank you for listening. This has been Amy's Bookshelf Reviews podcast. Thank you for listening. And always, be kind and stay safe. Thank you.